Today, I'll show you one of the most disturbing found footage horror films ever made, a 2005 Japanese documentary-style nightmare titled Noroi, The Curse. This story unfolds through a collection of abandoned tapes, police interviews, variety show broadcasts, and the final investigation of a missing paranormal researcher. Piece by piece, the footage reveals a curse stretching across cities, families, children, and centuries of forgotten rituals. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. The film opens with an introduction to Masafumi Kobayashi, a respected journalist and expert on supernatural events. For over a decade, Kobayashi built a career investigating hauntings and unexplained phenomena across Japan. His approach was calm, meticulous, and scientific, making him a trusted figure who never sensationalized the paranormal for entertainment. But this final project, a documentary he called The Curse, was never completed. Kobayashi vanished after his house mysteriously burned to the ground. His wife's body was found inside, but Kobayashi himself was never recovered. Fire investigators couldn't determine the cause of the blaze. Those who viewed the tapes discovered they documented a chain of supernatural events Kobayashi uncovered just before his disappearance. The footage begins with a seemingly simple case. A woman sends Kobayashi letters describing strange banging noises coming from her neighbor's house late at night. Kobayashi visits the home and meets the woman's anxious young son, who claims he hears the noises too. Kobayashi then approaches the neighbor's house where he meets Junko Ishii, a visibly unstable woman. She appears paranoid, her eyes darting quickly, her answers short and hostile. She slams the door the moment Kobayashi starts asking questions. Her young son looks out from behind her, his expression hollow and unsettling. Days later, Junko suddenly disappears. The police break into her home and find the rooms filled with bizarre talismans, ropes tied into ritual knots, clumps of earth wrapped in twine, feathers, dead pigeons, and paper strips plastered across the walls. The interior doesn't look abandoned. It looks exorcised. While Kobayashi examines the scene, police inform him that Junko's young son is missing as well. No one knows where they went. Before Kobayashi can investigate further, a national news story hijacks his attention. A televised psychic variety show involving children goes catastrophically wrong. In the program, kids attempt telepathy experiments for entertainment, trying to predict symbols hidden under boxes. Everything seems harmless until a girl named Kana Yano freezes mid-recording. She looks terrified, staring off camera as if something invisible is standing in the studio. Within seconds, multiple children collapse. One boy falls backward so hard that staff rush to catch him. Technicians panic as lights flicker, cameras glitch, and static overtakes the broadcast. The show cuts abruptly, sending the country into confusion. Kana becomes the center of attention. Kobayashi visits her home. Kana tells him she's been hearing tapping sounds at night. Gentle at first, but getting closer. She says it sounds like someone knocking on her wall from the outside. Recordings Kobayashi sets up capture the tapping clearly, accompanied by faint static. During one interview, Kana murmurs a word that stops Kobayashi in his tracks. Kagutaba. He has heard this name before, written in Junko Ishii's abandoned home, hidden beneath ropes and dirt bundles. Before Kobayashi can investigate fully, Kana disappears from her home under impossible circumstances. Her mother says Kana was in the room with her, then vanished within seconds. All doors locked. No forced entry, no broken glass. Kana evaporated like smoke. Kobayashi begins researching Kagutaba and uncovers a nearly lost history. Decades earlier, a remote village called Shimokage performed rituals to appease a dangerous spirit known as Kagutaba. The rituals were meant to imprison the entity, sealing it beneath the village. But after a catastrophic ritual failure involving a possessed medium, the Japanese government forcibly relocated the villagers and flooded the valley, turning Shimokage into a reservoir. Kobayashi locates rare archival footage of the final ritual rehearsal filmed before the village was submerged. The video shows villagers tying ritual knots, chanting, and handling grotesque effigies. The medium begins violently convulsing midway, screaming as if her body is being torn apart. The ritual abruptly ends. Weeks later, the entire village is submerged underwater. The protective ropes found in Junko's abandoned home match those used in this ritual. Meanwhile, a new character enters the documentary. Mitsuo Hori, a self-proclaimed psychic who appears on reality TV wearing aluminum foil on his head. Most viewers dismiss him as a comedic eccentric, but when footage surfaces of Hori being exposed to the name Kagutaba, he collapses into panic. In one broadcast, when someone accidentally mentions the word, Hori screams, clutches his chest, and begs the crew to stop filming as he convulses on the ground. Kobayashi arranges to meet Hori. What he finds is a terrified man on the edge of a breakdown. Hori insists that worms are crawling into people's bodies, that they're spiritual parasites sent by something ancient. He begs Kobayashi to stop the curse. Hori then drags him to a wooded park near a river, pointing to an area that he claims contains a doorway. He tears at the earth with his hands, crying that children are trapped underneath. The next day, Kobayashi returns with digging equipment. Hidden beneath the soil, he finds a bundle of straw, a rope knot, feathers, and a small shoe. Kana's shoe. Kobayashi expands the investigation into Junko's background. He discovers she once lived near the Shimokage region before it was flooded. Old locals describe her as deeply involved with spiritual practices. She left the region only after her husband mysteriously died under unclear circumstances. Kobayashi eventually locates Junko again, now living alone in a fragile, rotten shack on a remote mountainside. Her son is with her, but he is pale, weak, and covered in bruises. Junko refuses to speak, refusing even to look Kobayashi in the eye. Later that night, Kobayashi sets up a camera outside the shack. He captures Junko performing a secret ritual, tying ropes to trees, bathing boards in chicken blood, and chanting guttural phrases. Her son watches from the doorway, trembling violently. Kobayashi returns the next morning, but the shack is empty. Junko and her son have disappeared again. Hori begins having violent visions. He shows up at Kobayashi's house, delirious, ripping at his scalp under the foil, convinced Kagutaba is inside him. He tells Kobayashi that Kana is not lost, only taken. He claims Kagutaba moves from host to host, using people like disposable containers. Hori leads Kobayashi to the dam reservoir where the Shimokage village lies underwater. Fog rolls across the lake. The air becomes unnaturally still. Then they see him. Junko's son stands at the water's edge, motionless, staring into the lake. His posture is stiff, unnatural, like he's balancing on invisible strings. Hori sprints toward the boy in a panic. He tears open the boy's shirt, exposing an abdomen that pulses unnaturally, as though something alive is writhing beneath the skin. Junko bursts from the woods, attacking Hori with feral rage. Kobayashi tries to separate them, but Hori screams that the boy is not human anymore. The struggle ends abruptly when Junko collapses and dies, her body giving out from exhaustion and internal trauma. Kobayashi reports the incident. The boy is taken into protective custody. Hori is institutionalized. For a moment, it seems like the nightmare may be ending, but the curse has already spread too far. Hori escapes custody and murders Junko's son, believing he's preventing the apocalypse. Moments later, Hori wanders onto a roadway and is struck dead by a passing vehicle. Police interrogation footage filmed before Hori dies reveals him whispering the same final warning. Kagutaba is free. We opened the gateway. Kobayashi examines Junko's final apartment. Inside, he discovers shelves of VHS tapes, recordings of Junko meeting with small cult-like groups performing Kagutaba-inspired rituals. The walls are covered in rope knots, crude drawings of faces with stretched mouths, and notes describing vessels. One tape shows Junko feeding her son raw animal organs. Another shows her burying objects in the woods. A final tape shows her whispering that a new vessel has been chosen, and that the spirit will fully awaken soon. That night, Kobayashi reviews more footage. He grows increasingly distressed as he finds connections in every tape. Kana's tapping, the Shimokage ritual, Hori's visions, Junko's ceremonies, all forming a horrifying pattern. A knock interrupts him. The final surviving tape shows Kobayashi approaching the door with the camera still recording. Standing outside is Junko's son, the same boy Hori claimed to have killed. His skin is pale, his eyes unfocused. He holds a rope knot sealed with blood, the same type used in the forbidden ritual. Kobayashi gently invites him inside, concerned and confused. Moments later, the boy begins to convulse violently. His body bends at impossible angles. His jaw stretches unnaturally. The camera shakes as Kobayashi drops it and rushes to restrain the child. A shrill scream fills the room. The camera falls sideways. A fire erupts instantly, spreading unnaturally fast. The tape cuts out. Next, documentary footage shows firefighters desperately battling the flames at Kobayashi's home. The house collapses inward. Kobayashi's wife is found dead inside. Kobayashi himself is missing. No body, no evidence. no explanation. The documentary ends with one final message. These tapes are the last known record of Masafumi Kobayashi's life. His whereabouts remain unknown. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.